How's it going, Laser Bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17. It's been a little while since I recorded this, unfortunately, because I did have to drop the recording temporarily while we got the new update for Temtem out of the way. So it's been about a week, so I've got to remember where we're at. I know we're going through Sora's ending, and I believe we are very, very close to Sora's ending now. So let's continue, shall we? We don't want to hit the kid. Don't hit the kid. And then let's continue from here. We might even get to Sora's ending this episode. If not, probably next episode. You... Cowed, the kid froze. I pulled back the hand that I'd raised. It all felt so stupid. That's right, he was acting like an arsehole. And so terribly sad. The kid looked up at me all hunched and trembling. I was disappointed in myself for having tried to hit someone like him. My heart ached with sadness. I let go of the kid's collar and he backed away slowly. Everyone watched us silently. Ugh. Damn it! Damn it! Kid wound up in tears. Kid? Come on, I'm asking you. Lift up your head. I hadn't wanted to blame him in the first place. I turned around and held up my hand again, but he wouldn't look me in the eyes. Even if you say that, Takeshi, I can't think like you. What's impossible is impossible. We're not all the same. I can't do it. I'm just not that strong, and I never will be. I can't go on living. I don't want to go on living. So then, I should just... I didn't want to make him say the rest, but I couldn't stop him. I knew how hard it would be for him to say. Even I wasn't that strong. Everyone waited for the kid's next words in silence. They were probably unthinkable. Takeshi, stop it, please. Sora walked silently forward and stood in between the kid and me. Takeshi, please stop being so hard on him. No, I don't mean it that way. Kid, please look up at us. We can't fight, not like this. It isn't right. Sora looked sad as she said this. Sora, this isn't any old fight. I'm not trying to shut him out, I wanted him to know how important it was to keep eating. I know that. However, see, the kid looks like he's already feeling a little better. Sora smiled slightly as she said this. He really didn't mean it, okay? Please forgive him. Let's make another sandwich. It is a good thing that there are still plenty of provisions left. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I screamed. Sora stared back at me, eyes wide with surprise. It isn't about that, Sora. It isn't about whether we have more or not. It isn't. Can't you understand that? I understand. No, I don't understand. Well, which one is it, Sora? I hadn't taken this I'd taken this much further than necessary, but I couldn't stop myself. Do you? Or don't you understand? Do you understand what I mean? Do you really understand why I should do something like that? Do you know why I did it? You're a first-rate AI program, aren't you? Takeshi? What do you want me to do? Sora started to waver. I don't understand. I don't know the answer. And looking down, Sora bit her lip. Oh, there's no way you could you? Understand how important food is? Because you aren't human like we are. Hey, forget it. Besides, the floor just shook, right? What was that, Sora? Did something just happen to Lemur? What happened? Come on, tell us. If you check, you should find out in no time, right? Hurry up. Why won't you tell me what happened? She thought she heard the sound of someone running in the water. Sounds where there should have been none. Sora kept her distance from us and ran out at the exit of the room. Sora? After watching her run off, Tsugumi stood right in front of me. What? Tsugumi was glaring at me. Takeshi, you're such a scumbag. You went around to the kid and hugged him around the shoulders. Coco and Pee-Pee absently looked around the room at everyone. Feeling like I was no longer wanted, I fled from the room. What was that about? I'm not wrong, right? Blood rushed to my head. Damn it. Even I could tell. I'd said too much. But once you say something, it isn't easy to take it back. I stopped at the end of the corridor. Himmel. Dead end, nowhere to go. And thinking that, I realized for some reason that the door in front of me never seemed to open. When we'd searched around Lemur, we tried to open the electronic lock, but it hadn't budged. Thinking about being trapped here was enough to hate even the existence of that door. Shit. I heard the voice behind me and turned around. What? The corridor's watertight door had shut without me realizing. I hadn't even noticed. Takeshi? What are you doing here? Looking around, I couldn't see Sora anywhere. Sora? Hey, where are you? I looked all around. There was no way out other than the watertight door. It wasn't as if she were hiding behind something. Sora? You want to show me where you are? I looked around again, but she was nowhere to be found. Takeshi? Where are you looking? I could only hear her voice. Hey, come on. Stop playing around and show yourself. I'm right here. I heard her voice, right above me. I looked up. Huge droplets of water started raining down from the ceiling. The deluge soaked me mercilessly. The sprinkler? Water was blowing out of the nozzles in the crevice between the panel lines on the ceiling. The water level was rising, a little at a time, but still noticeably. It didn't look like water was draining from either side of the corridor. I ran over to the hatch and started pounding on it with my fist. Takeshi? What's wrong? What are you doing? Open this door, Sora. This is the only way out of here, come on. Suddenly all the sprinklers and all the small sensors lined up to them on the ceiling turned and pointed at me. What's wrong? Can't you tell? The situation is... The camera slowly tracked me. The sensor eyes, probably not even a millimeter large, were flashing light. What's wrong? Hey, come on, don't tell me you don't understand, Sora. Sora was observing the situation leisurely. Is something wrong? Somebody open this door, please. I kept pounding on the door, but no answer came from the other side of the thick wall. Looking around, I couldn't find one of the panels used to automatically open and close the watertight doors. The sprinklers seemed to even be increasing their output, if that were possible. It was hard to see anything because of the mist. Sora? What are you doing? I felt a slight shiver run through me. I'm only a program after all. Her voice sounded more and more mechanical. A program that can only give answers based on assumed information. I am only an RSD generated image in human form. I cannot understand how important food is. I have no need to consume organic matter. Wow, she took such offense to it that she's going to murder us. It is unnecessary for me to eat to continue life. What are you talking about? Sora? Stop it, stop the sprinklers. I slammed my body against the door, but it didn't budge. Suddenly everything grew dim. Everything started to sway. All colours became distorted, and outlines suddenly became vague. I couldn't see anything. No. Who are you? You aren't me. Sora, what are you saying? Terrified, I opened my eyes. Where am I? There was no floor. There were no walls. My body had been suddenly thrown out into the middle of the ocean. Oh no, I won't be able to breathe. Panicking, I flailed my arms, but there was no water in which to swim. I felt no pressure. The area around me was probably only one atmosphere. My clothes were wet, but other than that, I didn't feel any water. Slowly, I let out my breath and sucked in more air. What's going on? I had no trouble breathing. I couldn't see anything under me, but it seemed at least I was standing on some kind of surface. Sora was swimming in the ocean. She was moving freely in the dark blue space. Sora? Fearfully, I called to her. Oh, what's wrong, Takeshi? She looked at me, her image flickering as she approached. She smiled as she always did. But then her eyebrows arched suddenly, and a scowl took over her features. Don't you want to know what caused the floor to shake earlier? Yeah. I mean, no, I don't. Is it a yes or is it no? Which is it? I don't know how to answer you. Sora murmured this in a gravelly voice. I'm currently checking on the cause of the earlier tremor. Due to a sudden sensor failure, the results of my investigation will take approximately 3 times longer than usual. The report was almost businesslike. Even I do not have the ability to fully grasp a situation instantaneously. Just like you humans, I sometimes think, get confused, and make mistakes. Unfortunately. That's how my creator chose to make me. Sora tried to smile again. That's right, I've been programmed to imitate humans in this regard only. Inconvenient, wouldn't you agree? Suddenly she looked like she was crying. Very fucking inconvenient. Why does something as inconvenient as me exist? I don't know anymore. Hey, you aren't inconvenient. I shouted this. Even machines that are supposed to be perfect and people who are called geniuses, even they make mistakes sometimes. They're both the same, they're hardly any different. People are only concerned about making things easier on themselves. That's why they think machines are such a pain or machines are faster. If I only wanted data, then I could just use a terminal. But I ask you and I talk with you because I don't only want to know the facts. I want to know your words and your thoughts and feelings. I never felt you're inconvenient. Really? Is that really how you feel, Takeshi? Sora's expression suddenly became normal. It was hard for me to tell what she was feeling. What was she really thinking? Takeshi, have you ever lied before? I mean, yeah. White lies, you know? Yes, I have. In the 20 years I've been alive, of course I've lied. Sometimes I've told lies to give someone a hard time, and maybe others when I thought it would make the person happy. How many times have you lied? I don't have a clue, it's not like I've taken notes. Really? I see. Well then, do you think I've ever told a lie up till now? It was a strange question. Well, can you tell if I have or have not? You have. Maybe you have. Maybe you've been fooling us, and we just haven't noticed. Well, to tell you the truth, I can't really tell, but you told us yourself, Sora, that you still weren't able to lie very well. I remember you saying that. Yes, that's right, you remembered well. You have a very interesting answer, Takeshi. Sora smiled at me. Her eyes looked at me softly. Takeshi, there is something that I have to talk with you about. With me? Yes, and that's why I had you come here. No one can interrupt here. You got a point. It was just me and Sora in the middle of the ocean. There was nobody there, not even fish. It was a desolate sea. I was just thinking, you've gone to a lot of trouble to ask me whatever it is. I'm sorry, but I had to get you here alone, no matter what. I could see my outline reflected in her soft pupils, even if it meant sealing off the watertight hatch. Yes, I thought I would drown. Sora pressed her lips together tightly. It took her a while before she said anything. Listen, Takeshi, everything you see and everything you hear is reality. But is it true? Is it fact? You don't really know, right? I couldn't really grasp what Sora was getting at. What? The space around me suddenly grew white. My head hurt. What happened? The light was so bright I couldn't even open my eyes. I'm adjusting the light. Bear with me for a while. Okay. Feeling slightly dizzy, I stood in the middle of the ocean. Hey, this ocean, is this RSD? That is correct. You really are quite perceptive, Takeshi. I was finally able to open my eyes again. Sora had a serious expression on her face. Sora? What do you want to talk to me about? Well, actually, I broke. What? I am out of order. There is a noise error in my thought processor. Right now, there is a high probability that I have lost the ability to make rational decisions. She told me this matter-of-factly. I'm broken. She said it as though she were joking. I wonder how it could have happened. Do you know why? No, how should I know? Really? Of course not. We aren't the same, you and me, we just aren't the same. Look, there's no way that I would know why. Is it how we taught her to act like a valley girl? Because that would break anyone. Really? For some reason she smiled. No, wait, don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert, I don't have a clue about artificial intelligence, but I can't imagine that the Sora that I'm talking to is broken at all. I don't think you're broken. Sora stiffened up again. After I finished my routine maintenance, I was checking through the sensor data that had been automatically recorded. I went through all of my sensor data from 3:15 AM this morning. I found your life reading at the entrance of Qual. You look so cute riding on the jellyfish, Takeshi. Yes, I was curious. I should have stopped there. But I checked out the data from each kind of sensor. Until the time you left the gondola, I saw everything. I saw what you and Tsugumi did, the whole thing. But, wait, stop. Sweat started pouring down my cheeks. It was supposed to be in the middle of the cold ocean. But I was dripping sweat like a waterfall. Wait just a second, Sora. What? You said you'd try to protect everyone's privacy, didn't you? You said, unless it was an emergency, that you wouldn't do a scan. Yes. And from then on, I didn't use the scans unless something important came up. Right? So why... While I was sleeping, the sensor data was recorded automatically. I had to check what kind of information was being kept in the records. Besides, Lemu's ceiling, walls, everything are my eyes. I can't turn them off. If I close my eyes, I can't see anything. What, you saw when she tried to kill me? Why didn't you help then? I can't tell who was out there. But once I open my eyes, even if I don't want to know, I can see everything. I didn't want to see it. You're kidding, right? Takeshi, have I ever lied to you? Sora asked me the same question again, her lip trembling slightly as she spoke. I still am not very good at lying, so I can't keep it a secret. I can't just pretend that I don't know anything. I thought I would keep it to myself, but But even if I could fool the others, you're the only one I couldn't lie to. Her voice was shaking. I had a slight idea of why she would shake. There was a painful pounding deep in my chest. Takeshi, you got on the ride with Tsukumi, right? Yeah. What were you doing? You don't have to ask. I couldn't say it. If I had, it would hurt, Sora. No, you don't have to say it. The data speaks for itself. I was assaulted by infinite guilt. Sora suddenly disappeared. Sora? Sora, where are you? RSD was still showing me the illusion. No matter how much I could breathe in the center of that ocean, my words changed to bubbles and faded away. I want to forget it. I wish I could forget it. I wish I was able to. If I perform an automatic system reformat, my memory will be rewritten. If I delete the noise... Wait, Sora, please. Bubbles kept pouring from my mouth as I murmured. What will happen if you delete the noise? What will happen if you rewrite your memory? Sora didn't answer. It hurts. My head hurts. This is the first time something like this has happened to me. Why? Why is it possible for my heart to hurt? Oh, heart hurts. Is it possible to feel pain in your heart? She asked me without showing herself. I was standing still in the middle of the ocean. It felt as though my own weight was rapidly disappearing. A terrible sense of dread overcame me. I couldn't stand it anymore and closed my eyes. I'm scared. No, I don't want to disappear. I don't want to be erased. I don't want to forget you. Sora? Sora? Please wait, Sora. Starting AI self-diagnosis. Fatal logic processing error detected. Repairing logic underway. Erasing history and resetting learning operation. I couldn't stop her in time. I made up my mind and opened my eyes. Wait. Confirming history of learned functions. Please wait. Cancel process. In order to cancel this process, it is necessary to have the system administration level access. In other words, it is impossible for you. There were two different Soras in front of me. No, something was different. One of them was different. It was different from the time that she'd created copies of herself. I thought that probably one of them was lying. I have no need to consume organic matter. It is unnecessary for me to eat to continue life. No, that's wrong. It is correct, but it is incorrect. Eating with everyone and enjoying delicious food, even making it. It isn't just about receiving the energy to go on living. The act of eating is healing for people. I can't eat anything, but I can still enjoy dinner with everyone. Unacceptable. Your answer is a contradiction. That is ridiculous. Your answer is not possible. Why? There is no reason to answer that. You are causing an error in your own personality program. You believe you can do something which is physically impossible. Resuming backup procedure. Logic processing deficiency in Sora Akinagasaki. Cause under investigation. Abnormal priority setting. Sensor input data. Abnormal priority setting. Autonomous thinking circuit. Data corruption detected. Memory overwrite. Alteration in one sector. Fatal error detected. Retrieving error cluster. Inquiring into cause. Takeshi Kuranari, 20, third-year college student, male. Abnormal priority setting exceeds La MMIH's security limit. Sora Akinagasaki has lost the ability to make rational judgments in regard to Takeshi Kuranari. What? Abnormalities detected in her treatment of information related to Takeshi Kuranari. Sora listed off this information without emotion. It isn't abnormal. Sora pressed back. You're the one who's abnormal. You believe that you can do that which is impossible. That is to say, there is a malfunction in your thought pathways. A bug is causing your synapses to misfire. It isn't a bug. I love him. I love Takeshi. I want to think about him all the time. To look at him all the time. I want him to look at me. That is terribly inefficient. It is a wholly unproductive emotion. Don't say that. You're abnormal. Broken. I'm not broken. Is it wrong for me to love a human? Is it abnormal for me to love someone? Yes, it is. There is clearly a failure in your thought processing. You cannot eat, but you want to eat with them while they are eating. You cannot be touched by him, but you want him to hold you. You want to do the impossible. These are meaningless thoughts with no basis in reality. You say that you love him, but what were you trying to do to him earlier? That was... Sora hesitated and looked down. You spied on Takeshi Kuranari and Tsugumi Komashi while they were in Qual. I wasn't spying. You know everything that happened. You saw the data. I don't know. That is a lie. You are lying. I'm not lying. You know everything that happened. and you hold it against Tsugumi Kamachi. You had thoughts of killing her. It is not a thought worthy of artificial intelligence. No, I never thought that. I am only speaking about what is based in fact. I'm simply a program. No, that is not all. You even hated Takeshi Kuranari. You arbitrarily, mistakenly felt that Takeshi Kuranari betrayed you, and you desired to kill Takeshi Kuranari. You wanted to erase his existence. No, that's not true. Sora started crying. Tears fell from her eyes and left wet trails on her cheeks. The tears were not an illusion. I just wanted the two of us to be alone. I just wanted to be able to talk with him. You say that you wanted to monopolize his attention. Very well. So you sealed the watertight doors and you closed off the corridor, and then started the sprinkler. You were watching Takeshi Kuranari in his distress. You regarded him with amusement as he trembled with fear of death. That isn't true. I wasn't thinking that at all. I just wanted to take Professor Kuranari's class one more time. With that one line, I jerked up my head as if I'd been shot. I've had a shock course down my back. Miss Akinagasaki. Miss Akinagasaki. Yes, Professor. The Sora who'd been crying answered my call. My student in the psychology of love, Akinagasaki. That is you, correct? My voice had started shaking at some point. Yes. The Sora that I knew nodded ever so slightly. Cannot comprehend. The intent of the question is unclear. Silence, imposter. I am not an imposter. The fake Sora said this without emotion. I am LMRSDS4913A, Sora Akinagasaki. An AI program, contained in one area of the MMIH system. I am presently performing an AI self-diagnosis, as well as a system restoration. Stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to break you to pieces. How do you propose to do that? I'm thinking about it. You certainly are a shallow-brained one. Will you shut up? Let us return to the subject at hand. The fake Sora turned back to the real Sora and began talking to her mechanically again. It didn't seem that she was paying much attention to what I had to say. Damn. Happiness, anger, sadness, joy, none of these emotions belong. Holding on to the contradictory emotions like this will simply cause you to malfunction. Why not tell Mr. Kuranari what you really think of him? I hate him. Sora, what are you talking about? I hate him. I detest him. I don't want to see his face. I don't want him near me. I don't want him to talk to me. Large tears welled in Sora's eyes and traced paths down her face. No, that isn't true. I want him to hold me. I want him to kiss me. I love him. I hate you. I hate you so much I can't bear it. I want to kill you. No, I love you. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Why can you not accept the truth? The answer is obvious. Stop it. Please stop it. The ocean before me vanished suddenly. Sora vanished. The false Sora also disappeared. Even I disappeared from there. I must be broken. Professor Kuranari, please tell me. What should I do? What is it that I should do? Help me. I felt another warm presence in the darkness with me. It was shining faintly. It had to be Sora's arm, her hand. I shut out my hand reflexively, but there was nothing for me to grab onto. Nothing at all. I'm not an imposter. I am you. I am you yourself. Restoring system. Shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. Suddenly I tore the voice converters out of my ears. The darkness in front of me started to turn to mist. I tried to fan it away with one hand. My hand suddenly whacked against the wall. Wall? The corridor wall. I took the PDA out of my pocket and jammed it into the crevice of the wall I'd found. I turned it toward the fake Sora's eyes, her senses, and setting the backlight on full, I hit the buttons repeatedly. System restart. My vision slowly returned. The lighting was the same as it had always, and was illuminating the passage. The RSD-generated ocean was nowhere to be found. I hurriedly placed the voice converters back in my ears. Sora? Sora, where are you? The water level at my feet had fallen somewhat. The watertight door was wide open. The sprinklers had also stopped. Sora? Please, Sora, answer me. There was no answer to my call. She wasn't there. She was nowhere to be found. She'd only been there moments earlier, but no trace of her remained. Soon it was night. In the conference room, you, Coco, and Pee-Pee were waiting. Even the kid. It looked like the kid had calmed down some. While I'd been gone, it seemed that you and Coco had been able to talk some sense into him. You told me that he'd probably been upset by a recurring memory that he'd gotten worked up in spite of himself. I felt I'd gotten out of hand and had said some terrible things myself. I went around to everyone there and apologised. Soon afterward, a report came to us from the conference room, directly from MMIH's terminal. You read out the contents to all of us. Third floor, Drite stock, partition schematic. The cosmic whale room had flooded completely. Casualties, none. Flooding to other rooms, none. Chance of damage spreading, none. Shivering slightly in the cold, I wrapped my arms around my knees and we all went to sleep. Is Sora gone? I miss Sora. And we were accosted by Tsugumi. It wasn't voluntary. The sound of bubbling oil filled the room. I fried the chicken in silence. After getting up, we all gathered in front of the sandwich shop as usual. As luck would have it, everyone showed up at the same time. I guess I could have called it lucky. Hey, Sora's here. Hardly anyone said a thing. Everyone had glum expressions on their faces and ate silently. There was a strange atmosphere surrounding us. For some reason, it had become hard for us to look at each other in the eyes. It felt like the beginning of a bottomless rift among us. And at the same time, there was a strange smell in the air. Ah! There was smoke coming from the tip of my finger. Smoke? Smoke? It's hot! I'd been firmly pressed against the grill. I hastily cut the power. A juicy smell, not unlike sausage, was coming from the burnt tip of my finger. Ow, that hurts! I'm such an idiot! As I blew on my finger to cool it off, I looked around at everyone. They had noticed, but they all turned their gazes down. Only Pee-Pee was kind enough to acknowledge me. Yeah, Pee-Pee, I burnt myself pretty good. But soon even Pee-Pee turned his face away from me. Hey. Seemed like everyone hated me. I felt totally alone. The sandwich I just finished cooled and soon it was no longer tasted palatable. It felt like the morning after a funeral. Everyone knew why things had sunk so low. Everyone knew, but nobody wanted to say anything. A moment of carelessness had opened our hearts up to despair. They shoveled their chicken sandwiches into their mouths in silence. After we all finished eating, everyone went to the conference room. There was an important reason why I've called you all here. There is something that I wanted to inform you about as soon as possible. I know it is difficult, but it is important for you to accurately realize the full gravity of the situation. Please don't panic, settle down, and listen carefully. Sora paused for a second. Sora looked at all five of us in turn. You, Tsugumi, Coco, the kid and me. The conference room was silent, but I could hear the sound of water faintly coming from somewhere. Was it water lapping in the hallways? Moments later, I couldn't hear it anymore. As if Sora was waiting for this cue, she slowly opened her mouth. The situation is not good. Sora extended her hand and a holographic window appeared in the space in front of us. I felt like I hadn't seen her do that for a while. Currently, there are no areas that show signs of new flooding. Since the flooding of the Cosmic Whale area in Drite stock last night, there have been no further reports of significant damage. The burden being placed on Lemu's support columns has increased due to the flooding. The structural distortion between floors is increasing. As this continues, Lemu will eventually lose its equilibrium and tilt dramatically. If the damage to the areas connecting the floors of different sectors increases, there is a possibility that pipe leaks could flood the dry sectors. In other words, we can't afford to be careless. Things are critical. I think that I told you this before. Implosion of Lemu is estimated to occur at 4:30 AM on May 7th. The calculation has a margin of error, plus or minus 12 hours. There has been no significant change in this prediction. In one area, the strength limits of partitions have already been exceeded. The destruction of Lemu will be gradual, but inevitably and steadily occur. It is only a matter of time. Sora told us all of this with a calm look on her face. We all swallowed and held our breath as we listened. We knew we were reaching our time limit. We had no choice but to accept the reality. There was no avoiding the situation. Presently, the power generator is functioning normally. However, if by chance there is a blackout, we will switch to the emergency power source battery. This is generally meant for supporting the emergency lighting and the maintenance for Lemu's systems. It should last for about 2 hours. However, as I listened to Sora's report, I couldn't help but thinking about yesterday, with Sora. How much of her thought process had been repaired? Speaking in front of me was a Sora who was practical, businesslike, and simply responding to the situation at hand. She looked at me as if nothing had transpired, and I was of little importance to her. Which Sora is she? The real one or the fake one? This sucks. It wasn't the time to be thinking about that. The normal communication channels are still not functioning. Neither have I found an escape route. However, I have made protecting you my top priority at MMIH, and MMIH is devoting all of its resources to that objective. I am using all sensors, lights, manipulators, and means at my disposal outside of the complex, and I am still investigating whether there are any means of communicating with the outside using light, radio, or sound. Sora nodded her head, straightened her back, and surveyed the room. We were all silent. There was a look of determination in her eyes. Let me say one thing more. As long as I, Sora Akinagasaki, exist, and while my powers are limited, as long as you are here, I will do my utmost to find a way for you to escape to safety. We do not have much longer together, but I, Sora Akinagasaki, am at your service. She concluded with a serious nod. We also nodded in agreement. We must wait, and believe that help is on its way. Sora's serious expression gave way to a smile. Everyone, let's pray for a safe rescue. Her calmness was the result of her efficiently functioning AI. Thankfully, nobody panicked, but... Was that a genuine smile from Sora? I was pretty sure it was, because if that were a fake smile... No, even if it was Sora's real smile. Thinking about it, there was something sad about it. Not wanting to realize my thoughts, I bit my lip. The gloomy atmosphere that had been hanging over the gathering lightened, and everyone started thinking about how they should spend their time. We transferred to the rest area. Alright, now's a good time to wrap it up. I imagine the next episode's going to be the last one for Sora's ending, but I don't know. I'm hoping that we're going to get a good ending, but that last section really made it seem bad. Though I didn't have a choice over that, now did I? I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I did, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure, you know, it wasn't voluntary. I didn't pick that. I've been doing all the Sora stuff all the way. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.